This is Magic and Mortar with another video for you today on how to use this crackle effect that you see here to make things like lava, ice, desert terrain, or anything else you can think of. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out the ice wall tutorial video for a chance at that giveaway. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So today I'll show you the Crackle product that I'm using, and I'll show you the techniques that I use to apply it. I think it's one of the easier things to do. It just takes a lot of practice, but the good thing is once you get good and comfortable at it, it adds a level of detail and texture to your terrain that looks really, really good. Okay, so right off, I'm going to show you the crackle that I use here. This is Deco Art One-Step Crackle. You can get it from any craft store. The only thing to note and what I'm going to show you here is that how thickly you apply it will affect how it's going to crackle the paint underneath. A really thick coat is going to leave very large cracks and gaps, and if you do a very thin coat, it'll be almost unnoticeable, but it will crackle just very, very lightly. Now, when I apply this, I like to dab it on evenly because I want the crackle effect on my piece to be uniform throughout. So I want to distribute that liquid as well as I can, and I find that dabbing the liquid on with your brush has the best effect for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a thin coat on right beside that thick coat. After it dries, you'll be able to see the difference in the cracks there, and you'll know how you'll want to apply it for your project. It is recommended to wait at least 2 to 4 hours to let this dry. Usually I'll do it at night, and then I'll just let it dry overnight and get at it the next morning. Alright, and here is our dried crackle. You can see how big the cracks are with that thick coat, and then how tiny and small the cracks are with that very thin coat. Find what works best for you. I usually go somewhere right in the middle. So something really important to understand with this crackle is that the bottom color is really important. So I started with a black paint on this board, and then I would paint a color over that, and the crackle is going to crack up the top coat. So I have the black board, and you'll see in a minute with my ice, I have a blue paint, and then I have that crackle, and then I'll hit it with a white highlight. So the black paint underneath really helps those cracks to stand out, and then you just hit it with that white to catch all the edges on top, and it ends up looking a lot like cracked ice. Now, you can get creative with whatever color combinations you want to use. In the very beginning of the video, you saw I had that lava where it was actually yellow underneath with a red crackle, and that looked really good as well. It really just depends on what you're trying to accomplish, and you can experiment with different colors and see what you think is going to look better. Like in this video, I didn't actually show it, but you can do different types of browns with like a light highlight on top to make a really cool desert terrain. Just find whatever works for what you're trying to accomplish. Now, with all my projects, I'm just using acrylic paints. That's what I'm using right here in this video as well. The only thing that's a little tricky here is your top coat. The yellow I'm putting on right now, you want it to seep down into those cracks you just made, and so you need to thin your paint out a little bit, which can be tricky with acrylic. So I like to add a little bit of water, and usually it's fine. If you want to, they sell thinning products for your paint, like a pouring medium is what you can get. Add that to your paint, it'll thin it out for you, and it'll still keep the vibrant colors, and it'll still stick very well. But I think a little bit of water is just fine. And so here was me using some red paint that I had thinned out way too much, and you can see it just wasn't working. I think that this was a combination of just the paint being too thin, the black cracks with the yellow layer, and then the top red layer. It just wasn't coming together here. So here's an example of, in my opinion, an experiment with colors and layers, and it just did not work out. You can see how good that one looks like lava, and then the yellow one just doesn't add up at all. But that's okay. We're just learning. Now, here you'll be able to see I was actually experimenting with a couple different colors, low contrast, high contrast, seeing what would work. And then you can see right there I was using a red and a brown, and that wasn't coming together at all. But now right here, I actually was doing a black with a red. So it's red with the black paint on top, and then a red crack on top of that. It actually turned out really, really well. So now you can see and understand why it's so important to practice your brushing techniques, practice different color layering, and then once you get really good at it, you can just see how awesome and how cool of an element it'll add to your terrain. Guys, that's it. Thank you for watching our quick tips on crackling for your terrain and mini bases. Don't forget to check out our ice wall tutorial. I'm running a giveaway over there and it ends soon, so please go check it out. If you liked the tips and you want more, subscribe for more content and more giveaways. Take a look at some Crackle of my own here that I did. This piece will be in my next video where I cover tips on expanding foam, using LEDs on your piece, and using pourable waters. Thanks again everyone, and I hope I'll see you at our next video.